Welcome to SportsZone. Coming to you live from the North Texas studios. We have a bunch of stuff to get to today. NHL Playoffs, Mean Green Report, and as always, we'll wrap things up with our Mean Green Drill. But the NBA playoffs begin this weekend, and I have Bria Graves and Jocelyn Mitchell right here with me today. So let's start things off with a little NBA party, ladies. How you doing today?
Great.
I'm
Doing
very
well? All right, very good. Well, today's the last regular season games for the NBA. Saturday starts the playoffs. I'm curious because the Cavaliers have not been playing very well since the All-Star break. And everyone before the season thought it was going to be Warriors-Cavs, foregone conclusion for the finals. Do you agree or do you disagree?
I still think it's going to stand that way. Now, my ending result is indecisive right now because Kevin Durant is back and he's a force to be reckoned with. But I do think that one of Cavaliers' threats is going to be the Celtics because, yes, they also have they're one of the teams with the most titles, and they also have a bench that's in depth, meaning they can play anyone and still do things. And, of course, Isaiah Thomas, he's one of the greatest players also. But as far as them not making it, yeah, they've been struggling during the season, but I definitely think they're going to make it through.
All right, very good. Do you think the Cavs and Warriors are both definitely going to make it?
Yeah, they're definitely going to make it. I mean, the Cavs, they've had a bad little run after the All-Star break, but, I mean, LeBron is going to be LeBron.
Yeah.
Kyrie's going to be Kyrie. They're still going to go to the finals, but as Jocelyn did say, the Celtics, they're coming up. Yeah. They're not the Celtics that we knew a couple years ago. You know, they have the young roster, very young team. Isaiah, he's been amazing this season. A lot of people have tried to put MVP on him, but we all know who MVP is going to be.
Well, the Celtics have taken over the number one spot in the East. Cavs fall to number two. So is it the Celtics the only team in the East that you think could really give Cleveland a run for their money? Or do you think the Wizards, maybe the Raptors, a team like that?
Well, the Wizards, they're making a lot of noise. I'm not going to down them because they got John Wall, and they have a lot of great players as well. But as far as making a difference in the Cavs going, it's Celtics for me because they were the only team that wiped them from being number one, and now they're number two. So I'm going to say Celtics.
All right, and same with you. Only the Celtics can give the Cavs. All right, but you're still sticking with the Cavs in the East. Warriors in the West. You feel no competition for the Warriors in the West?
Oh no,
it's competition.
Oh, okay.
It's competition.
All right, well, who is it then? Is it the Rockets?
I'm gonna say Spurs.
Okay.
Because of course that's what I call the fundamental team. They have Kawhi Leonard, of course, and they have Tony Parker, but they also have one of the greatest coaches. Popovich is a great coach. To me, he reminds me of like a Bill Belichick. We're not talking about NFL right now. But the thing is, this team, it doesn't matter, to me, the meaning of this, it doesn't matter what players he have. The fact that he's a great coach, he can play anyone and still make a difference.
Okay.
Yes, the Spurs for sure. Every year we see the Spurs. They're quiet. Every year they're quiet.
Yeah.
Nobody really talks about the Spurs, but they will come with it. So definitely the Spurs.
Okay, absolutely. Well, let's look at a topic that's been kind of in the news recently in the NBA. There's been the resting of the players, the star players in particular. Now, this is something that's kind of gone on for a little while now, but this season it's really come to the forefront, and people are not really happy with it. What's y'all's take on it? Are you okay with NBA players, especially the stars, resting and perhaps on end of season big national televised games?
I'm definitely for players resting. I will say that it's just become a big topic because we're seeing a lot of big games like ABC, the primetime games. That's why they're upset. I honestly don't think they're upset for the fans. The fans, that's not really the concern for the league. They're losing money because of this.
Exactly.
That's the deciding factor. They're losing money. Ratings, all of that. But the players, they should definitely be able to rest. You see all these players who have these like injuries that are just ruining their careers, and that shouldn't be it. 82 games a season, 4 games back. It's just
it is a long
mess.
season. Jocelyn,
I would hate to disagree. I can talk about this all day, but unfortunately we are limited. I feel that they are getting paid to do exactly what they're doing is playing. The fans are here to see them play. There was a Spurs versus Warriors game that I saw when the Spurs beat them, and the whole starting lineup of the Warriors just left the bench and went to the locker room. I felt that was completely disrespectful. There were a lot of people who it was their first time ever seeing a game, and they didn't even get to see anything. So I feel that if you're that tired, then maybe you should cut back practices, or maybe the commissioner should shorten the games. But I think that's disrespectful to me.
You have a response for that, Bria?
Okay, my response, they're not going to shorten the season. I know they're not going to do that because they're losing money. But I will say that I do agree with, fans, they want to see, but these are people with lives. This is their lives. After basketball, they still have to live. You know, most players, their career ends right before they're 40. It's not like, okay, you're 40 and then the end of your life. No, they still have to worry about the rest of their lives. What they should do, they should shorten, like not shorten the games, but just not have games back to back to back with road games all week.
Because the thing is, the fans is what's giving them their money, their paychecks. It's us paying the tickets to sit in those seats to see them play. So you should make something.
Yeah, well, and it's the TV deals, the ABCs, they do all this. They pay a lot of big money, and then the stars don't show up. So it's certainly a problem. Thank you for the insight, ladies. Remember, the NBA regular season ends tonight, and the playoffs begin on Saturday. But stay tuned, because coming up next, we have our Mean Green Report. The North Texas women's tennis team has had a very successful season so far, posting impressive wins and going head-to-head with some of the top-ranked teams and players in the country. However, no one has excelled more than sophomore Maria Kononova. The Russian-born tennis player has gone undefeated with her doubles partner Timuna Kutsabidze, as well as posting a 15-3 match mark, which is a new school record for wins in singles play. However, despite all the success and accolades she's racked up this season, Kononova remains focused on reaching bigger heights.
North Texas women's tennis player Maria Kononova spends her days practicing, training, and school record breaking.
I'm from Russia and my major is integrative study. It's a special major for transferring students because I transferred from my Russian university. And I decided to go to North Texas because my coach back home, he knew Coach Lama, and he told me it's a good university when I can improve my tennis.
Maria has been named Conference USA Women's Tennis Athlete 3 times this season, is nationally ranked number 61, has defeated 4 ranked opponents, including the 15th in the nation, breaking the school record.
I didn't expect that my season will go that good, but so far I play probably best tennis of my life and I try to keep it up as much as I can. Oh, it was really nice to know that I broke school record. It means something for me. And I beat girls whom I lost not only last year, but since I was childhood, like I knew some people from Russia would play together, and that was a big accomplishment for me.
Maria and her doubles partner Timuna Kutsabidze are currently undefeated.
First of all, I came back. I had injury last semester, and I came back and I was feeling great. And she supported me, and I think she played a really big role that we just didn't lose any of the matches. So I think it's more her than me, because it was like, I don't know how to explain, like, she was Timuna and Maria at the same time.
Just try to do the same thing and finish the season the way we started.
I'm Savannah Huemoeller for NTTV News.
With the season coming to a close, Kononova will almost certainly add to her list of broken records before the end of the season. The tennis team will face off against SMU this Thursday and UT Arlington on Saturday in preparation for the Conference USA Championships. And we will be back with more SportsZone next. Well, we started things off with an NBA playoff party, so we got the hockey boys to join us for an NHL playoff party. We got Joey Catalano, Jackson Donovan joining us now. Now, I see you showed up to the party with no beverages, no snacks, no treats. What's going on here? You show up empty-handed.
I just showed up with a 100% accurate playoff bracket.
All right, well, that's what I need. I need some hockey intel from you. So I know the Dallas Stars, unfortunately, we talked about it. We almost cried about it a couple weeks ago. They're not going to make the playoffs. All right, but let's look at their Central Division. Anybody from that Central Division can make some noise in the playoffs?
Well, to start off, I think the Stanley Cup favorite is the Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, with 3 cups in the last 6 years, they really got to be the favorite from the Central, well, at least from the Western Conference. And then a lot of people were liking San Jose at first just because they were there last year, but they're kind of limping in the playoffs. They lost 9 of 11 the last few games in their season. So I really just don't see them getting past Edmonton.
I'm going to agree with you on one thing, and that's purely because the Central Division is going to have the Western Conference champion come out. It's either going to be Chicago. I've got Minnesota. Minnesota ranks in the top 10 in every single team category except for faceoffs. That's the only thing they don't rank in the top 10. Devin Dubnyk has been in the top 5 in all but one category when it comes to goalies, and with that one, he's off by 1,000th of a point. And so I've got Minnesota coming in strong. It's going to come down to Minnesota and Chicago in the second round, and whoever wins that one is going to be the West champion.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I think St. Louis is going to get past Minnesota, and the reason for that is because Mike Yeo, former head coach of Minnesota, I think he knows that team very well. And St. Louis, since they switched from Ken Hitchcock to Mike Yeo, they went 22-8-2. So I think St. Louis is the hotter team coming into the playoffs, and also I think the playoff atmosphere is in the head of Wild coach Bruce Boudreau. He's never won a Game 7, and I almost feel like if he's nervous, if that's in the back of his mind, the team feeds off the coach, and I feel like the coach being nervous is going to translate to the team. But we just have to see how they're going to play. I have St. Louis, though.
All right, tell him why he's wrong, Jackson.
They're not going to make it to a Game 7. Minnesota is going to be able to go out. They are second in the league in goals for and in shots on goal. They're going to be able to come out quick. They are third in the league in faceoffs. They are going to control the tempo against St. Louis. They're going to go against Chicago. They're going to have all their focus going on Taves and on Patrick Kane. Kane's going to have a good series. He's always going to have a good series. They're going to take out St. Louis in the first round. They're going to go to Chicago. I've got them being Chicago in 6.
I love it. I love it. All right, and that is Chicago. Those are your boys, man.
You know what? I think you got to stick with the dynasty there. And honestly, I think if you look into the Pacific Division, I really don't think there's any team from the Pacific that'll rival Chicago or Minnesota or St. Louis.
Chicago's 19th in power play and 25th in penalty.
You got to
go. Go in the playoffs.
You have to go with
the
experience. You have to go with experience. Chicago's won the Stanley Cup and been in the playoffs 5 of the last 6 years. Like, literally, they will not.
But when they've won those Stanley Cups, they've been relying on Crawford. This year, Scott Darling has started 39 games, more than Crawford. You cannot go into the playoffs and not know your identity of a goalie.
Crawford was injured, and honestly, if you have 2 very good goalies that can win you games, I think that's a recipe for success in the playoffs. I really do.
I love this. Are you sure you guys are done? Because
Let's move on. We got to move on.
All right,
we got to get to the East.
Okay. There's a few other teams in the.
All right, very good. Well, let's talk about some of these first round matchups. Any that intrigue you the most?
You know what? I really like Edmonton, San Jose, and the reason is mostly just because of Edmonton. They have Connor McDavid, who's only 20 years old, born in 1997, and he was the only player in the NHL to get 100 points.
It's incredible.
And they also have a lot of playoff veterans. You know, they picked up Milan Lucic, and also Cam Talbot's their goalie's played majority of their games this year, and he's been just stellar.
I can't disagree with that. They're 8th in the league in goals for. Talbot's tied in league for wins. I've got them going in. Their youth is going to be able to pull them through the first round. Everyone's going to be tired after 82 games of the regular season. I don't see Edmonton having a struggle in the first round.
And then with that other matchup, Anaheim-Calgary, I think Anaheim's just better. I mean, Glenn Gulletson, former Stars coach, this is his first time in the playoffs. I really don't see Calgary doing anything, even though they do have Johnny Gaudreau. But
all right. Well, then let's take a look at the grand scheme. Who do you see coming out of the East? Who do you see coming out of the West?
When it comes to the East, I really like Montreal. Montreal's got a great team.
I agree.
Problem is, Carey Price has not been the same. He has always been in the last 2 years. He's still a top-notch elite goaltender. But I've actually got Pittsburgh coming out. Washington is going to be their biggest struggle. But I see Pittsburgh going to be able to go in. It's going to be Crosby versus Ovechkin again.
It's going to be amazing.
I've got Crosby taking it.
All right. Well, I know our producer Jonathan's not going to be very happy with me, but
I'm pretty sure he's wearing his Pittsburgh jersey
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't see Pittsburgh returning to the final. I really don't. I think this is Washington's year. I think it will be Pittsburgh in Washington in the conference final, but Washington just has so much more firepower this year. I feel like Ovechkin's kind of at his point where it's like, all right, man, I'm getting to the Stanley Cup final. They picked up Kevin Shattenkirk from the St. Louis Blues. TJ Oshie's been having a year, and Braden Holtby is probably going to win the Vezina again this year as the league's best goalie. So at the end of the day, I think it's going to be Chicago over the Capitals in the Cup final.
Oh, okay. So you got the hometown Chicago. Now, is that just because you're a fan of the team?
No, I think you got to go with experience, and also I think the sleeper in the East is going to be Montreal. I think with the addition of former star Jordy Ben, that kind of rounded out their defense, takes a little pressure off Shea Weber. They also got Max Pacioretty, very low-key star in the league, and Thomas Plekanec and Alex Galchenyuk. I think that's the sleeper in the East, but Washington's mine.
All right. Who do you like?
we've already stated we disagree in the West. I'm still going to go Minnesota with the goalie and the speed that they have and being able to control the puck. Coming out of the West, I'm going to look straight in the camera with this one. It is 2017, and Phil Kessel is still a Stanley Cup champion. And come 2018, he will be a Stanley Cup champion again.
I love it.
No way.
So definitive, Jackson.
I've got it.
All right,
I've got Pittsburgh taking control.
All right, well, if he gets a cameo, I want a cameo.
All right, do
here,
it.
Right here. Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews are going to win their 4th Stanley Cup in 7 years. Take that one.
You
Take
heard
that
it
one
here
to the
first,
grave.
ladies
There
and
you go.
gentlemen. You heard it here first. Thank you, gentlemen. I wish we could just continue this. It's fantastic. Don't forget the NHL playoffs start tonight, and we'll be back in a moment with our Mean Green Drill.
Go Hawks.
Welcome back inside the North Texas studios. It is time for our Mean Green Drill, and here to help me out is Kyle Yeomans and Connor Bean. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good. Pretty good. Thanks
Good.
for having
Kyle,
us.
I'm just happy to see you got another color.
I do. I finally have a different color. I'm not wearing the
It's
green.
not just
even
green
though,
in this
Even
man's
though it's
arsenal.
the Mean Green Report.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. We'll change it up.
It's actually,
I'll work
this
for
is the
him.
Mean Green Drill. This is where
Oh,
we go
sorry.
hard.
Okay.
No, it's all right. It's all right. So, all right, so we got Connor Bean, we got Kyle Yeomans, and we're going to talk some basketball, we're going to talk some softball, and we got some Mean Green football. They had their spring game over the weekend. So we'll get into all of that, but let's start with the basketball team. Jeremy Combs, we just find out he is going to be transferring for his final year next year.
Yep.
What does that mean for the upcoming season for the Mean Green basketball team?
I mean, it hurts. Obviously he got hurt last season, so we didn't really get to see what he could do. But the season before, he was definitely the best player on the team. This is a guy who can go get you 15 and 10 every game. From a leadership standpoint, he's going to be missed as well. Probably the most athletic player on the team as well. This guy could jump out of the gym, and he had them long arms like Giannis. Whatever his name is, and he had Antetokounmpo, and he could you steals, blocks. He was a
stud. He was a stud player. But he didn't get to play last year due to injury.
Yeah, he only played 14 games.
That's the
unfortunately.
thing, is that Grant McCaslin came into this situation at North Texas, and he had the whole big press conference where he was like, guys, we're going to build around this program that we have now. We're going to bring these players in that are already on campus, and we're going to make these guys work together. And now you take a hit like this, and your best player from the 2015-2016 season, leading scorer, leading rebounder from that season, who, despite not playing a whole lot last year, is not going to be on your team anymore. That's always going to be a huge hit, no matter what kind of team you have around you.
And do you think, and I know you got a chance to speak with McCaslin whenever we hired him, did you get the feeling he was expecting Combs? Do you think he was kind of blindsided by this?
And here's the thing. I knew he was expecting some kind of shifting, but with talking with him, I was more surprised that Combs transferred because he thought Combs was set.
Okay.
He thought Combs was going to be here for the season and to finish out as a part of the Mean Green. He was more worried about A.J. Lawson.
Gotcha.
Getting up and leaving and going somewhere else.
Well, do you have any info on that?
No, I don't.
Sure?
I don't
Okay.
have any breaking news
Fair
or
enough,
anything
fair
with
enough.
that. But in terms of A.J. Lawson and Ryan Woolridge, this is their team now.
Yeah.
Jeremy Combs was the guy before he ended up getting up and he's now leaving.
Yeah.
This is Woolridge and Lawson's team, and it's also going to give Shane Tamara a lot of playing time as well.
There you go. Well, it's definitely a big blow for the Mean Green.
Most
We'll see
definitely.
how they can bounce back. It's always tough when you lose a guy like that. He was their best player, the most skilled, right?
Stud.
So, all right, well, let's turn our attention to the softball team, Mean Green softball. They played over the weekend. Southern Miss, you were actually on some calls recently on some softball games. So how did that series play out?
It went well for North Texas. They won the series 2-1. They won the first game off of a Hannah Rebar walk-off home run, 3-run shot in the bottom of the 9th inning to
bet your
win it.
call
It
for
was
that
it
was
was great.
phenomenal.
Yeah, hopefully we have some audio.
call.
Probably not, but I think that's the home run right there.
All right, there you go.
But what happened was North Texas back and forth pitcher's duel in the first game, then pitcher's duel was right around in the second game. Southern Miss pulled out the second one, and then the third one, North Texas was actually down by 3 at one point and came back.
That was
and
a
won
wild
by
comeback.
3.
Did it turn out to be a blowout?
They ended up coming back and putting up, I think, 6 or 7
like 9 to
unanswered
6, right?
runs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was a
like
crazy
6
comeback.
unanswered runs.
All right, well, they play tonight against Oklahoma State up in Stillwater. Any preview for that matchup tonight?
Most definitely, I'm looking to see what the Gregory twins are going to do. We just got to keep riding their momentum because they've been playing phenomenal softball as of late. OK State, they're on a little bit of a losing streak, but they are still 6-0 in the Big 12. Last time we played them, they kind of got us 10-2. So hopefully we can go up there and get a win.
And avenge that early season
And
loss, right?
the thing is that Stacey Underwood's going to be in the circle for the Mean Green tonight, and she's had a phenomenal season thus far. 2.80 ERA. She's got 12 wins in her, I believe, 21 appearances or so.
Yeah, she's been pretty impressive.
She's been awesome. And her strikeout to walk ratio is about 2-to-1 right now. She's been awesome.
And she gets the start tonight?
She does, yes.
All right, awesome. That's 6 o'clock in Stillwater against the Oklahoma State. Is it Cowboys?
Cowgirls.
Yeah,
Cowgirls.
Cowgirls.
All right, very good. All right, let's move to the football team. They had their spring game on Saturday. Any news from that? Big time plays, big time players. What'd you like? What you don't like?
Well, my MVP of that game definitely was Rico Bussey Jr. He had 8 for 146 and a touchdown. I think he really made some noise about who might be the #1 receiver in that rotation. Also, Mason Fine has a little bit of competition with Quinn Chambord and freshman Cade Pearson. So they both had a good, solid game. Mason Fine went 14-25, 115, touchdown, a pick. So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, quarterback. I mean, is there really a controversy here?
Not necessarily. I mean, Quinn Chambord, we've seen him the past couple of years. He's come out. He's had a huge spring. I remember I was on the call for the spring game last year, and he just tore everyone up. Just was all over the field, and he turns out he didn't have anything really anywhere close to being to the starting job whenever the fall came around. But Chambord, now that he's getting older, maybe trying to close the gap a little bit with Mason Fine, but Fine looked good as well. Within 15 yards, he was almost perfect throughout. You see the passing there on the screen, and then as well as really putting some more velocity behind his passes. He was able to put some more mustard behind it.
Looks like he's been doing some more work.
He has beefed up a little bit.
I needed him to do that because I think it'll help with his durability. He maybe last the whole season this time,
Yeah, he's an undersized guy from the start, so he needed to put on some weight. Happy to see he did that. But you don't see there being much of a quarterback competition or controversy at the moment?
Not at least until maybe conference play starts. Now, if Mason Fine goes out in the middle of non-conference play, doesn't do very well, then maybe Quinn Chambord or Pearson could come in and make some noise. I like Pearson a lot. Coming out of Texas High, he's a good quarterback. I like what he can do. Kind of switching to the defensive side of the ball, Bryce English was awesome in the spring game. Had 2 sacks, and he was in the backfield every play, no matter what.
That defensive line, or are we talking linebacker here?
Defensive line.
Defensive line. So defensive lineman in the backfield all game.
Awesome.
All right, very good. All right, well, unfortunately, I got to cut you off. We're running out of time. That was fun. We'll be back with some more Mean Green drills next week. And that's going to do it for today's show. Oh, don't forget, the softball game is tonight. It's in Stillwater, but it's at 6 o'clock, so you can tune in for that. And thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media platforms at NT SportsZone. We will see you right back here next week.